amazing summit. And hello to everyone. I see so many people are live. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I'm based in Vienna. And I prepared a powerful session. It's going to be super interactive. So I highly invite you to also write into the chat. Maybe you want to write into the chat how you're feeling today. Where do you come from? Hi. Nice to see you. I'm also going to share my screen. So hopefully this is going to work. Let me maybe just check if I can share the screen first. Can you, maybe one of the hosts can tell me if you can already see the screen or if I shall, let me check. I think now, yeah. I think now, just a second, I have to do this first. Wait a second. Yeah, I think now you should be able to see my screen, right? Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so welcome again. So I'm happy to be here. This is going to be super powerful and interactive. I prepared a powerful meditation and a constellation mini embodiment technique. So what can you expect? This session is about true soul-aligned and source-aligned leadership and the power of surrender. So I want to share some really personal stories of transformation from my own business life. I've been doing this for a long time, since 15 years now, full time. I'm a business mentor. I'm called the detective of the subconscious. So I can read people's subconscious patterns. That's my strength. And I help entrepreneurs around the world to lead with love, to lead from a place of full alignment with source, with alignment with their own higher self, with their higher wisdom, and also to access powerful master frequencies and master energies and archetypes. So archetypes is the keyword for today. We're going to invite powerful archetypes in an exercise, and especially the queen. So be ready to put on your crown on your head because I want you to leave with a lot of value and with power. So that's what I've prepared. So maybe before we start, it's always important to set an intention. So maybe just tune in with yourself, with your intuition, take a few deep breaths and just tune in with your heart. You can also put your hands on your heart and ground yourself, be fully present, and use this space. There is a lot of energy here. That's amazing. I'm so happy to be here. Use the energy of the room, of the space. Maybe tune in with all the people here that are live and all the people that are going to watch the replay, and really use it as a catalyst for transformation. And also, if you want, you can call in your spiritual team, your helpers, your inner team, and just set the clear intention. What is it that you want to create today? It's a powerful time of the year. We just had the summer solstice. It's a portal where there is a lot going on in the collective. So you can use the portal as a catalyst for your own manifestations and your own clear intentions. So maybe you want to write into the chat, what is it that you want to manifest? What is your intention? Maybe it is clarity. Maybe you want to create more abundance, financial abundance. Maybe you want to create prosperity. Maybe you want to invite love into your life. What is it that you want to create? Okay, write it into the chat. That would be wonderful. And also, if you can still hear and see me, you can write it into the chat. That would be amazing. So I hope I'm still live with you. Okay. So tune in with your soul and let me know. So for example, love. Yeah. And when you write it into the chat, when you define your intention, also it's important to really feel the quality of the energy, to feel the frequency, because everything in the universe is a frequency. And that's how we manifest. We manifest by tuning into the potential that's already there in the field and becoming what we want to create. So if you want to create love, you can become the frequency of love. Or if you want to create abundance, you can start to feel abundant. That's gonna be an amplification and a speed up for your manifestation. Okay, wonderful. So let's continue. I know there are many entrepreneurs here, many business owners, and I know from my own experience that we try to do everything right, but it doesn't feel quite right. So maybe you also have this experience that you have a business that is doing really well, your calendar is full, but at the same time, you feel a little bit disconnected. You feel a little off. You don't feel abundant. Maybe you have prosperity in your business, but you don't really feel you have enough time. You don't have quality in your relationships. You don't feel spiritually aligned. You don't have time for your spiritual practice, for your meditation. So what if the next level of success comes not from pushing and striving and achieving, which is the old paradigm, but from surrendering? What if surrendering is our true superpower to create more abundance, true abundance, which includes, of course, financial prosperity, but also time abundance, relationship abundance, spiritual abundance, intellectual, creative abundance. Yeah. So let's invite together the quality and the power of surrender today. And if you want to create from a level of full alignment, one of the most important things is going to be to know your why. Why have you been starting in the first place? What is your mission? What is your actual purpose? You came here with a purpose. So that's one of my books. I have two books. One is Soul Creation, The Power of Source Aligned Manifestation. And in this book, I developed a process where I help leaders and entrepreneurs to tune in more precisely and more clearly with their soul purpose. And there are a few questions that will help you to define and to refine what your purpose is. So one of them is, what breaks your heart open? What brings you joy? So the frequency of our soul is pure joy. It's pure bliss. The soul is the true part of ourselves that's still connected with the universe, with divine source, with God. And when you connect with your innermost truth, with your soul, you're going to radiate with pure joy. So that's the frequency that you're going to extend and emit out into the universe. And that's actually what you're going to pull back in, what you're going to magnetize, because there is a law, and there are laws in the universe. And one of these laws is the law of resonance. So whatever you put out is going to come back, right? So that's a really important question. What breaks your heart open and what brings you joy? What brings you bliss? Okay. And then also, of course, where do you feel most alive? So we want to feel passionate about what we are doing. We want to feel on fire. We want to be burning. We want to have a deep, deep conviction and a desire to speak our truths. That's our purpose. So our purpose, our mission it's almost like a blueprint. It's a very unique signature. It's a frequency we have, and the purpose is also connected to our innermost truth. So you can also ask yourself, what do I truly believe? Write it down. Maybe write it also into the chat. What do you believe? What is your highest value? What are your highest values? What is your highest conviction or your deepest conviction? Okay. And then this is also a really nice question. What would you still do even if no one saw it? So maybe close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself really honestly, what would you still do if no one saw it? What is the thing that you're just naturally doing anyhow? So for me, for example, I love to be creative. I love to create new methods. I have my own coaching constellation method, and I'm teaching it since 10 years, and have trained over 100 practitioners. So, and that's something that happened quite naturally. It wasn't really a plan I had. It was just like an innate movement, an innate gift that flew through me and through my life. So the purpose is something you're just naturally good at. It's also one of your highest talents. So maybe also ask yourself, what is the thing that you're naturally good at? Yeah. And that's going to be also connected to your purpose. But let's look at the paradigm of leadership, and also what is the old paradigm, or many people are still operating in the leadership of, let's say, burnout, constant productivity, lack of meaning, lack of connection to purpose, lack of connection to your own higher truth. And often underneath, we find fear, scarcity mindset, we find compensation. Many people are still trying to compensate old ancient wounds from childhood. So, for example, you thrive, you want to be successful, but you try to prove to someone with being successful instead of living your own truth, instead of living from a place of alignment. And you can do that for a while, maybe for a few years, but what's going to happen is that you're going to feel burnt out. Yeah, that's the consequence, because you cannot be sustained and you cannot create sustainable growth, which is more the new paradigm, the soul aligned leadership. That's going to create sustainable growth and true happiness, true abundance, true bliss, because it will be aligned with what you really are here for, with what your purpose is, right? So you have to start from within, and you don't have to start with strategy, but with truth, with resonance, with alignment. And that's how I'm leading my clients all over the world as a business mentor. First of all, we're starting from alignment. It's often it's a letting go process, of course, because many of us have been here for many years, like many of you and me, for example. I've been doing this for so many years, 15 years. And I know there are like phases in business. So there are phases where you're like expanding and you're creating new projects and you're like scaling your business, for example. And then you have a phase where you're like turned more inwards and you're listening to higher self, and you're asking yourself, is this really what I'm here for? Or maybe there is a higher level of potential that wants to be activated in my life. So it's like it's a phase of growth. And then we have to be brave and we have to let it go. So often we are still pursuing things, or we are still promoting marketing programs that are not fully aligned with purpose, because also the times are changing, right? We're living in a world full of crises. So I wrote another book, that's my second book, The 10 Dimensions of Crisis, where I'm looking at how we as leaders can be resilient in these difficult times where so many people are struggling, where we face climate change, political crisis, division, and all of these things, wars. And at the same time, we want to shine, we want to be beacons of light, right? So I was reflecting in that book at how can you turn crisis into opportunities? How can you use crisis for growth? Yeah, how can you, for example, tweak your own projects, your positioning, your strategies, and really make it an amazing fit, a perfect fit for what the world, the time, and the market needs right now. Yeah, and that's going to be easy. Yeah, that's another like it's a sign that you're in alignment, that you feel at ease. You're feeling in the flow. You're in a flow of creation. You're co-creating with the universe, with God, with the field. You feel the doors are opening naturally. You don't have to push. So that's the difference between pushing to grow and surrendering into a natural, divinely orchestrated grow. That's a different attitude. It's a totally different mindset. Yeah. So when you're surrendering into growth, into purpose, things start to happen really naturally. And that's what I teach in my programs, also in Awakening Leaders. I want to give you just a few details about it. So maybe some of you are here listening and you feel resonance with what I'm teaching. So I want to give you a lot of information, and also stay to the end to the practice where we are going to invite and activate the archetype of the queen. Yeah. So stop chasing and start embodying. Embodying is a key word. It really is it's a key, it's a medicine for natural soul aligned leadership and growth. Because once you embody what you want to create, things are going to move really fast. Once you start to be the person that you want to become, yeah, you close the gap between the present and the future, and you start to create from the future. It's really, you start to be a magnet for what you want to create. Okay, so let's make a quick meditation together, and maybe also close your eyes again. And I want you to have a shift, a mindset shift, and really have a shift in vibration today. And I'm going to help you a little bit with the meditation. So close your eyes, and also you can put your hands on your chest, on your heart, and take a few deep breaths. And connect with your higher self, connect with your soul, and ask yourself, what is my soul here to create or lead in this lifetime, at this time, this moment? What is the pull? It's a calling. It really is a calling. It's a pull in a specific direction. And maybe there is some idea you've had for many, many years, and there have been like doubts and fears, or just like circumstances in your life that didn't allow you to pursue this idea, but there is a calling. So, and I'm going to tell you the story where how I followed my calling and how I changed from being super exhausted and overworked to being fully like in alignment and working with the law. So ask yourself, what is it? And then maybe also write it down. That's powerful. Write it down. And don't ask yourself right now how you're going to do this. That's also a key in manifestation. You don't have to know how. You just have to know what. You have to put into the GPS of the universe the destination. You have to define your visions, your goals. Just put it out there and then let it go. Yeah. And then see what's happening. Like the magic is always there. Okay. And then also, what would change if you fully trusted your inner knowing? If you fully trusted your own strength, your power, if you trusted your resilience, your inner knowing, your wisdom, and how if you fully identified with your truth. Yeah. And then let it just sink in, and let's invite miracles and synchronicities for your path. And I want to tell you a story as an inspiration, like one of my turning points in my own life, my own business was a moment that I remember. It was a few years ago when I did scale. I scaled my business quite amazingly with a mentor I booked from the US. And she helped me a lot with strategies, with creating webinars, live launches, PR, and all these things. So I had prepared a really big launch. That was one of my biggest launches. I had a few hundred registrations, and I felt I had to do it all on myself. So I had a team at the time, but deep inside my mindset still told me, scarcity mindset, I have to do it on my own. So I wasn't willing to let go and let God. And I remember that things just didn't turned out the way I was expecting it. So, for example, like I think the night before the actual launch, my active campaign funnel kind of froze. Then the landing page disappeared, the checkout page, the sales page froze. So, like all of these things that are super important for making sales, they just didn't work. And I was like crying. I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. I put so much energy, so much money, also so much work into this launch, and nothing seems to work. And I remember the moment I just broke down and I started to cry. I was like, I'm not going to do this way anymore. I can't do it. I cannot I cannot operate from a place of fear and from a place of scarcity anymore. And I'm going to just let it go. And that was the moment of fully surrendering and just really being on my knees and praying. And I said, God or universe, there has to be another way. And all of a sudden, I felt, wow, there is energy coming in. There is help. I'm not alone. There is this field of abundance, of resource, of power that actually is connected to me that I can use. And even though things like the pages didn't work well, I had an amazing launch. People were like, so like they really could feel the energy of abundance coming through the camera. And I made so many sales the next day that I was like, I have no idea how that happened. And that is called a miracle. So that's a miracle story. And I'm sure you also have some of these amazing stories. And that truly is the power of surrender. And also what had happened at the moment I surrendered, the moment I cracked open and I allowed myself to be vulnerable, to cry, to be weak, I felt my inner queen, the archetype of the queen, came back. She literally like rose, from the ashes. And she was like, here I am. I'm the queen. I'm the leader. I'm sovereign. I have the power and I'm going to do this no matter what. And that is a deeper power. That is true leadership. That's like, I'm not going to do it as my limited self, but I am going to do it as the higher, bigger self. Yeah. So it's just actually it's a shift in frequency and a shift in attitude and a shift in mindset that's going to change everything. Yeah. And we're going to do it together when we embody and invite the queen in an embodiment practice. So I'm just looking at the watch, but I think we still have some time. So what is an archetype? Before we start using the queen, archetypes are like universal patterns. They are amazing. I love to work with archetypes in all of my business mentorings. For example, for branding, it's super powerful. When you know your own archetypes, you can adjust and tweak your marketing to the archetype, the colors, the branding, the texts, and just your whole like messaging, whatever you put out there. And also for mindset shifts and personal development, these are powerful helpers. And the archetypes, they really unlock our hidden strength. They're like mirrors for who we really are. So for example, we have the warrior. Yeah, the warrior has the sword of light. He pushes, but also he has a clear commitment to the path. He has clear boundaries. Yeah. Then we have the lover, open heart. The lover feels, he's connected, he's empathetic, he's spiritually aligned also. And then, for example, we have the queen, yeah, who is the sovereign leader, who creates for the collective, yeah. And for example, the magician, we had yesterday evening, I had a call with my awakening leaders. That's my mentoring, where I help people become true leaders and also be more connected to their intuition and to the field of masters. That's something I'm helping people with, to open their own intuitive channels, their clear sights. Yeah. So that's what we did yesterday evening. That was powerful. We worked with the shaman, the inner magician. So these are all powerful archetypes that help us to use the fire of transformation and to really transform into something new. And you can ask yourself, what is the archetype that you want to use in the next few weeks or months? Maybe it is the queen, maybe it is the magician, maybe it is the warrior, yeah, or the lover. There are many, many, many archetypes, and they're all like aspects of universal consciousness. And all of these aspects, they live inside us. And sometimes we have an archetype where we're feeling this is not me at all, so we're kind of projecting it, or we're distancing us from this frequency. And what I teach and what I live is integration. It's spiritual awakening is a full body integration. Nothing more and nothing less than that. It's being fully embodied and fully conscious of who you really are, which is all the everything, all of the universe, that's all part of yourself. And we can use the archetypes for our own personal growth and for the bigger spiritual awakening. Yeah, and it is a very playful approach. That's what I like, but it brings deep transformation. So let's look at the queen. You can see this beautiful image of the queen, and I'm going to show you a quick embodiment technique. So if you have a post-it handy or some, like maybe a pen, that's fine too. It's just something you can hold in your hand, or you can write down queen or king. Yeah, there's the king and the queen. So write it down, and again, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. And now you can take this post-it and maybe hold it in your hand, or you take your pen and you can make a firm decision that now I'm going to be the queen. I want to feel who the queen is. And maybe this is something you naturally have, like in your daily life, you feel connected to the queen, or you feel it's like a disconnect and you're not really familiar with this archetype. Okay. So let's just invite her in. And also you can ask her, how can you help me with these challenges I'm facing right now, with my business decisions, with my leadership, with leading a group, for example, or presenting something. That's super powerful. When you are in the queen, you have a natural tranquility and sovereignty. Also, when you present something. And also you can use the symbol of the crown that you put on your head. So use the imagination, put the crown on your head, or use the pencil as a scepter of power, a symbol for the scepter of power. Put your stake into the ground and maybe say it out loud. Here I am. I'm here. I'm powerful. I declare my power, my truth, my worth. I am the queen. I am the king. And I'm going to create from source, soul aligned. I'm going to lead with love. I know my boundaries. I have a clear yes and a clear no. I know my path. I see my path. And now just feel the full embodiment of the queen and just breathe her in and just become the queen and play with her a little bit and maybe ask yourself, what would I do today as the queen? What does the queen want to do? Maybe she wants to go out at night, have a beautiful dinner. Maybe she wants to go for a walk. Maybe she wants to get a massage and really do the things. This is a very, very practical approach. So we're getting information from the archetype, and that's how we can strengthen her. And the more you're going to strengthen the archetype, the more you can create with the power of the queen, for example. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so just feel it. And I'm super curious, if you want to write it into the chat. I think I have to close the presentation to see what you're writing. So that's another question. If you fully owned the queen, what would you stop tolerating and what would you start creating? That's an important question. For being a strong leader, we have to have boundaries. We have to say no with conviction, and we have to say yes with the same conviction. So what would you stop tolerating and what would you start creating? And this comes back to purpose. Yeah, I'm almost ready. And are you ready to do you want to do it alone, or do you want someone that helps you? So if you feel resonance with what you've heard now, I'm here for you. This is my website, my email, and I think we have to come to a close. Thank you so much. And maybe there are a few people that want to ask questions. So if you have a question, you can ask us, or you can ask me and write it into the chat. I hope you enjoyed the talk. Thank you. And yeah, let's see if we have some questions.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It was really wonderful.
Mm.
Your exercises, small tips